Testing, testing. I don't understand Julian Sayin's role on the Ohio State Buckeyes. The Buckeyes told everybody that Julian Sayin was a game manager. Julian Sayin has 3 interceptions through 3 football games for the Ohio State Buckeyes. He also doesn't have the ability to pull the ball on any of the inside zones or reads, so he's not a threat with his feet at all. Julian Sayin doesn't even look to his wide receivers when they're running wide open deep, and he has the best wide receivers in America. He's checking the ball down before the play even begins. Julian Sayin has decided that he's going to throw the check down immediately. Ryan Day, during the middle of the game, screams at Julian Sayin and says, "Throw the ball to Jeremiah Smith. Please, son, throw the ball to Jeremiah Smith." Julian Sayin has to be begged to throw the ball to one of the greatest wide receivers that we've ever seen, but they call him a game manager. I don't understand Julian Sayin's role. What part of the Ohio State football game, what part of the game is Julian Sayin managing? He's not doing anything special on the field, and he's turning the ball over left and right, so he's not even taking care of the football. Julian Sayin isn't a game manager, and Julian Sayin didn't deserve to just be handed the keys to the Ohio State Buckeyes. The Ohio State Buckeyes are the defending national champions of the world, and they gave the keys over to a 19-year-old kid with no experience on the field whatsoever. And they gave the keys to the Ohio State Buckeyes to a 19-year-old kid with no experience whatsoever. And they didn't even bring in any competition to make him actually win the job. Why was Julian Sayin just handed the keys to the Ohio State Buckeyes when he had proven nothing? And even still 3 games, Julian Sayin hasn't proven that he's a good quarterback. He hasn't proven that he's able to make a play. He hasn't proven that he's able to audible at the line of scrimmage. He hasn't proven that he's able to get the ball to Jeremiah Smith. He hasn't proven that he's able to throw the deep ball. Why was this kid just handed the keys to the Ohio State Buckeyes? I've never seen a quarterback make playing football look as hard as DJ Lagway makes playing football. DJ Lagway is 6'4", 240 pounds of muscle, and he can't find a way to make that translate to the football field at all. He can't run anybody over, he can't juke anybody. DJ Lagway can't even throw the ball accurately to his receivers. DJ Lagway had 5 interceptions against LSU. 5 interceptions? That doesn't even happen in the college football video games. So at some point, DJ Lagway just has to be put down. It's not that DJ Lagway isn't the Heisman. DJ Lagway might not even be a starting quarterback in college football. Anybody who throws 5 interceptions, you have to look at their job and say, this kid might not be ready for the moment. The first time that we take this kid on an SEC road game, he turns the ball over 5 times. DJ Lagway's time at Florida is about done. He's going to have to get in the transfer portal after this year if Florida is a real football program. Florida continues to let him start all season and to sabotage their season just because they paid this kid a bunch of NIL money, then that will be a disgrace to the University of Florida, and that will be a true travesty as to how NIL has affected the game. Garret Nussmeier doesn't have any elite traits at the quarterback position. Every Heisman has an elite trait, an elite moment, something that they can do better than anybody else on the field. Garret Nussmeier doesn't have one of that. There's not one thing that you can point out about Garret Nussmeier and say he does that better than anybody else in college football. He doesn't have the strongest arm. He's not the most accurate. He's not the most consistent. And he's not the best game manager. So what is it that Garret Nussmeier does? Garret Nussmeier's on a stacked LSU squad with a great defense, and he's only able to put up 20 points a game against a struggling Florida team. USF put up more than that against Florida. Garret Nussmeier is not a Heisman quarterback. Garret Nussmeier's dad was a great football player. This is not his dad. This is Garret, his son. So let's treat Garret Nussmeier accordingly. He is the most average quarterback playing college football right now. He has no elite traits. He has no elite traits. He can't outrun you, outthrow you, outkick you, outjoke you, laugh you. He can't tell better stories than you. He doesn't go to sleep better than you. He can't talk better than you, eat better than you, nothing. Garret Nussmeier is the most average football player in all of college football right now. Jerry Jones needs to give up the keys to the Cowboys. Jerry Jones is an 83-year-old man who works two jobs at a billion-dollar organization. Just think about that. In any other corporate company in the world, Jerry Jones would be unemployable. Jerry Jones can't walk up to any job. He can't walk up to your company and give them his resume and say, "Hey, can I work here?" They would all say, "No, you're way too old, Jerry. You're not going to make great decisions, Jerry. You don't know what you're doing, Jerry." Same thing with the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones is responsible for trading people, signing people, bringing them in, because he's not only the owner, Jerry Jones is both the owner and the general manager for the Dallas Cowboys. So he's responsible for trading people, bringing in free agents, signing them, letting them go, managing relationships, negotiating contracts, everything. And Jerry Jones is an 83-year-old man. He has no idea what's going on, but there's nobody above him who's telling him, "Jerry, you need to let it go." So I'll be the first one. Jerry Jones, you have to sell the Dallas Cowboys. Julian Sayin refuses to throw the football further than 5 yards. Everything that Julian Sayin throws is a check down or a 5 yard hitch. And it really looks like he's deciding to throw those footballs before the play even begins. It's gotten to the point where the coaches are running hitch concepts and comeback concepts for Jeremiah Smith just to get him involved in the ball game. Jeremiah Smith should be a deep threat burner who Julian Sayin's able to get the ball up to, but Ohio State's having to change the entire way that Jeremiah Smith plays football just because their quarterback can't get him the ball in the way that he plays. If Julian Sayin can't find a way to throw Jeremiah Smith the football deep, then Ohio State either has to get a new quarterback or they're going to lose Jeremiah Smith in the transfer portal next year. Jeremiah Smith isn't going to sacrifice his Heisman opportunity and his NFL draft stock because he's waiting on Julian Sayin to throw the ball deep. Jeremiah Smith doesn't need to be running 5 yard hitch routes. If you had Randy Moss on your football team, would you ever run a 5 yard hitch route with him? No. You would be sending him deep. You would be sending him on post routes. You'd be sending him on crossers. Julian Sayin refuses to throw the ball to Jeremiah Smith anytime that he goes past 5 yards or anybody else on the team. So Jeremiah Smith is not going to take this long. And I guarantee you that Jeremiah Smith won't be an Ohio State Buckeye next year if Julian Sayin's the quarterback. Dabo Swinney has long ago seen his best days at Clemson. It is obvious that Dabo Swinney is on a downhill trajectory at Clemson. Dabo Swinney ruined DJ Ugalele. Dabo Swinney is ruining, in the midst of ruining, Cade Klubnik before our very eyes. So if you're a quarterback prospect, do you want to go play at Clemson? No. And Dabo Swinney was outspokenly against NIL. So who in the world wants to go play at Clemson for the guy who doesn't want to pay them any money, but that same guy wants to be on television all day and night looking at himself and making the football games about him? Dabo Swinney needs to be out of Clemson. Clemson is 25 years away from winning a national championship. And the longer they keep Dabo Swinney, that's going to be the further and further and further that timeline is pushed back. Clemson is not a real competitor for anything right now. Not this year, not next year, and not in the 4 years after that. The day that they fire Dabo Swinney will be the day that their program resets. When their program resets, they'll be 15 years away from winning a national championship. So you can start today, or you can fire Dabo in 8 years, and you still will have no national championship to show for it. Recency bias is way too prevalent. Bud Crawford is nothing near a Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather Terrence Crawford is nothing close to Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather won 50 straight fights, 50-0, beating the best fighter along the way every single time. Bud Crawford beat Errol Spence Jr., who's basically a nobody. If after Errol Spence Jr. lost to Bud Crawford, you never heard his name again. So he's a nobody. And then Bud Crawford beat an old Canelo, who Floyd Mayweather already beat when he was much younger, much quicker, much faster. So basically, Bud Crawford's resume is he beat two guys. He beat two nobodies. Floyd Mayweather beat 10 guys the caliber of the guy. Floyd Mayweather has beaten 10 guys the caliber of Canelo and Errol Spence Jr. Floyd Mayweather's also won 8 more boxing matches. Floyd Mayweather is the greatest boxer of all time. He's faced way more competition. And in 2025, the best fighters aren't going to boxing. So Bud Crawford isn't facing half of the best fighters in the entire world. If Terrence Crawford wanted to prove that he was one of the best fighters in the world, he would have to go in the MMA lane, and he would have to show that he's able to beat guys in MMA and UFC too. Because in 2025, when guys are growing up, if you're a great boxer, there's probably more money in it in UFC than there is for it in boxing. So Bud Crawford isn't actually facing the best fighters in the world. He's just facing the half of the best fighters in the world, and he's the best of that half. So let's just put things into perspective. Crawford fought a great fight. It was a good win. But if Bud Crawford just sits back and retires because he beat an old Canelo, then I don't ever want to hear his name mentioned in the same sentence as Floyd Mayweather Jr. ever again. There shouldn't be a debate about who is wide receiver U between Ohio State and LSU. LSU has really good guys that they put out once every few years. Ohio State puts out first round draft picks every single year. Ohio State has a wide receiver factory. They get the best wide receivers out of high school, right to the university. They grow there, they develop there, they become the best in the world, they go to the NFL. It's a program that Ohio State has in place to make their wide receivers great. LSU gets guys who are sometimes nobodies, a lot of the times transfers, and then they make them good wide receivers, or they have good careers at LSU and then go to the pros. It's different. LSU doesn't have a system in place. They just have guys who come and go through their program. Ohio State does it every single year. Next year, you know who Ohio State has coming in. Chris Henry. 2 years from now, you know who Ohio State has coming in. They're already committed. Ohio State has a factory. By the time kids are 16 years old, if you're the best wide receiver in your class, you already know where you're going to college, and it's Ohio State University. You might not, if you're a great wide receiver, you might not know you're going to LSU until you're on your junior year, second transfer, and then you get an opportunity to come over.